Anyways, Fargo, yeah, the second of the
You betcha.
Coens to discuss. You
Yeah,
betcha.
so like after watching this, I guess I was just curious, like, so the show, like, what's that about?
You haven't seen
Did
any of
you
the
did you
show?
catch? Have you
I
caught
haven't
any
seen
of the
any of this
Easter
show.
eggs? Were you like paying attention to see like where they were polling to tie into each season?
Yeah, oh yeah, you feel it. Have you watched
Yeah,
the fifth season, Alex?
I have not yet. No,
Okay.
but I saw the first episode. But like that whole caper stealing, like kidnapping the wife. That's the
Yeah,
first
I was like,
episode.
oh, they brought this in for the fifth. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then the money buried. That's season two. But also the cabin is also season two,
Yeah.
and
In season
season
one,
one out on the
he finds
ice.
the money that
Yeah.
he
Oh,
buries.
it's season one. Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was season two, but yeah, that's it's the store guy.
hmm
Yeah,
He just like has like a moment of like God where he finds this thing of money
yeah,
in the side of the road, and it's what this Steve Buscemi's character leaves. It's
yeah.
cool. I would check out the show. The show is fantastic. One of the best
Okay.
shows
Yeah.
on like if you're talking like Better Call Saul,
Yeah, no, it's
these
like
level of
next
prestige.
on my
Fargo is
list.
like
Because I
Fargo.
found out that Mad Men's only on AMC Plus, so and I'm not gonna
Mhm.
fucking do that because I refuse. And
Yeah.
so now I'm just going to Fargo.
There you go.
You should. Season one and two are like next level.
Great.
Season two is fantastic. I love season two of Fargo. But
I'm
yeah.
rewatching that
Anyway,
with
the
Emily
movie.
actually. Yeah, the fifth season though. I just want to say the fifth season. I check it out too, Alex. It starts very slow and kind of like bare bones, and then by the end of it, I loved it. Like the
Okay.
last three episodes, like elevated that whole season for me. So
I know. I've been meaning to get around to it. I just Sarah's home, so we kind of just watch what she also wants to watch. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Emily like hopped on board that season like halfway when she
Okay.
was like she saw Juno Temple and knew her from Ted Lasso, and then like started to
Yep.
get into it.
That's kind of how Ozark was with Sarah and me. She was like halfway through season two. She's like, this is actually pretty okay. But anyway, yeah.
Well, the movie, this is where it all starts. Everything in the show is emulating the movie or like just paying straight tribute, or it owes everything to the movie,
Yeah.
obviously. So, yeah, iconic Coen, 96, got Frances McDormand as the lead. I think when you think of Fargo, do you think Frances McDormand or do you think wood chipper? What's the thought?
Uh,
That's
Francis
tough.
McDormand was mine for at least like
Probably Francis
before watching it.
McDormand
I was
at
like,
this point.
yeah.
See the sheriff
Yeah.
hat, you
I've
know.
only seen
Like,
it once.
I see the
Please.
pregnant top.
this is your first time watching
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe?
Mhm.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. What'd
Yeah,
you think of it then? As like a first, because I think we've all seen it, right? Other.
I mean, I thought it was fine. I think that guy. I think like he totally got his part on Shameless because of this. Because I mean, he plays a good piece of shit. So like, you know,
Which guy?
I don't know the
Jerry?
one. Yeah.
Oh,
Jerry.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
Wow. Just
I know.
okay.
I
huh?
don't like. I think it's just like I'm just not. I don't know. Like the Coen brothers don't hit me like they hit you guys. I don't know what it
This
is.
is-
Like it's just fine. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fair, man.
This movie, I mean, I've seen it a few times, but like this watch through specifically, maybe it was just because I was having fun like connecting it to the series now. Now that I'm coming back to it after watching seasons one, two, and three. But like even the guy gets his duck on a stamp, and like in the third season, the stamps. I mean, it's like I don't know if that was the intention, but I was like,
Gotta be.
nice, you know. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is like super. I have no complaints. Essentially, is what I'm getting at. Like this is kind of like the tightest of their scripts so far out of all of the ones I've up until this point. Obviously, there's better movies than this one that they've made, but like to this point, this is like perfect pacing, perfect idea that kind of just unfolded into this perfectly simple film. So
Yeah, man. I think like the word that I hear a lot when Coen Brothers comes on is like absurdism, and this movie is like exactly that. Like
Yeah,
it's like
so, like,
inept
also-
and incompetent people like trying. Yeah, I don't know. It's just-
Why I'm like curious about that is because like at the beginning it said this was based on a true story, right?
Mhm.
a
It's
story.
a lie.
Is
It's
that a lie?
story.
It's
It's
just
a
a story. It's a lie.
It's just straight up.
It's got like pieces. I think it's like based off of the crime, but it's like
No, this is a question I have actually, and it's like, is it okay to basically just lie to the audience about it? This is the true story because it's not. It's not at all.
It's not a true story, but I
That
think
was like the
fact
first
that they're
note I wrote
saying-
down, but because
this
I
is a
question
true-
everything now.
Right.
I mean, it is a story, so that's true.
Well, everything's a story. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
I went to
This
the
is a
fucking
true
store, and that's a
story.
story. Yeah.
Exactly, it's a true.
But I didn't go to the
story.
store, and I just lied to you. How do you feel? Do you feel betrayed, don't you? Because you thought I
think
went to
that
the
was
store.
it was
fuck you,
that was a
man. I feel
It was a
betrayed.
bad story.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't
you
get
know,
anything.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
terrible
not
story.
actually based on a true
But,
story,
No.
but a
No.
fictional crime drama inspired by the night. Wait.
It's inspired by a real
this was
murder
the TV
case.
show.
Is it really?
That's what the wood chipper scene was inspired by a real murder case.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've found. Because I googled it
I
yesterday.
could see
and I
that.
was
It's
looking
like
at
that's
it,
like
and, yeah.
fucking wild. You know, I
That is
mean,
pretty
and that
wild,
is like
too.
what it's kind of. You know, the like culmination of the weird shit that happens in the movie, like when she just comes up and. You know, the fucking.
Why is he even doing it in the first place?
That dude is just like unhinged. He's just evil.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
But he's like, is it to get rid of the evidence or something? Like, there's no
splattering
reason.
so, like,
Everywhere.
but like not really. Like, yeah,
No, it's terrible.
Like, it's all over.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
Like, regardless
like-
of who it was, they committed a murder. Like,
yeah, right. It's like clear. There's even more evidence now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder because there's people that don't like know and they don't read and they see that this is like a true story and like now their life is completely like
Mhm.
it's like they think a fantasy. I don't know, but then I go.
what are you trying
what-
to say, Matt? You demeaning me because I thought that this was based on a true story?
You're living in a fantasy world. Is all I'm saying, man.
Look, man,
Joe.
I didn't take the 2 seconds to look it up, so.
Well, no,
I
I'm
guess
just like, but that's what I'm
not
saying.
me.
Is like, is it irresponsible? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because it's like
I'm gonna
portraying
fucking
something.
sue.
You might win.
I don't think
I mean,
it's irresponsible.
I don't think it. Yeah,
No.
I don't think it is either. At a certain point, it's like
I think it's
on the
fine,
viewer.
but it's just like,
Yeah.
why though?
Well, to me, the strength of it is like this feels like reality. This feels like a lived-in
Yeah.
story
I don't know.
that is
You're
like I
totally
should be
right.
actually thinking about how.
And, like,
they
I
look at
guess,
this.
like,
picture bad criminals.
Like I saw like a. I don't know. I think any movie nowadays that is based on a true story, I'm kind of not down for, unless it's a really compelling story. But like, I don't know, like the first one that popped into my head coming out, I saw a trailer for some Mark Wahlberg movie where he's, I don't know, running a fucking triathlon, decathlon or whatever, and a dog is
What?
there. And I'm just like, I don't know. Do I care? Like, it'll probably be heartwarming, I guess, but like, I don't know. So I guess it's just like this movie, by saying it's based on a true story, I feel like demeans other movies like that. Like that
Yeah.
other one, the dog.
Now I'm not going to believe that dog ran that marathon. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
don't believe that dog ran that marathon.
I
I'm sure
don't
that dog
either.
like showed up and he like carried that dog.
Also, I
around.
don't think it was a marathon. I think it was like, well,
think,
fuck, I
like,
don't know
he
what it
was
was.
swimming
It was
and
some
shit?
kind of race. Sure, it was a marathon.
Triathlon?
I don't, they were like swimming and canoeing and shit.
Biking?
It was like across like some, I don't know, Latin American country, like, or some island
Well,
country.
now
I
I'm
don't
interested.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It was what? I don't know.
Well, okay. I guess like it falls in the vein of like Blair Witch Project almost, where it's like you got the audience.
That was based
you
on
know?
a true story, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
100%.
Just let them live in the fantasy world, guys. So I don't know. It's like they.
any hikes.
It's like they're pulling a little magic trick on you almost with this one, or it's like it's just like a little mental trickery that they pull on you with this movie, with like Blair Witch did.
Couldn't this fall in the same vein as like Inglourious Bastards? Why did Tarantino spell bastards that way? Because he fucking wanted to.
Yeah, I've always
He
wanted
doesn't have to
to,
just
explain
like-
it.
but I've never taken the 2 seconds to look it up.
So
But
that's
I
what
guess
he says. He
if-
never says why he spells it that way. He just wanted to.
But if Tarantino was like, "This is a true story," and then the movie Inglourious
Inglourious
Bastards played after it, like I don't
Fucking
know.
hilarious. Actually.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Like, so Hitler was actually killed in the fucking theater. Like, oh my.
Okay, then
That's
in
how
that
it
same
works.
vein, what you said earlier, this feels like it could be a true story. Hitler getting
It does, yeah.
demolished with
Inglourious
600
Bastards, yeah.
rounds of.
I know that wasn't a true story.
Hey man,
Like,
we don't know what actually happened.
Amazing. I just
Fair.
I would love
But
to
like
just
this could, like I could see this kind of being, a
Right.
true story. Like,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
They definitely like place it there to like make it feel that way too. But they have enough of the zaniness
Dude,
to like
also like
make it the
do
most
you
wild
guys
true story I've
know-
ever heard.
Where did the Coen brothers like grow up? Did they grow up in the Midwest?
I wish I knew. I want to say they
It's like
did. Yeah,
I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of their
They
movies
had to
just
have.
have like weird
Yeah.
Midwest like roots. So like
the opening shot
I
for
just
this
feel
movie
like
is
there's no way they couldn't have like
empty fucking road, carving
Yeah.
code down empty road. Like
Yeah.
it's just, that's their spot, man. I
When
love
when
it.
that guy was telling the story about the lake, and he's like, I figured I'd call it in, you know, and
So I
it was
called it
just
in.
like, I was like, yep, this is the Midwest. Like they
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah, that scene's
They
so
were born
fucking
in
good.
Minnesota.
hell yeah,
There you
okay.
go. This is their hometown, then. This is their home state. Nice.
Anyway, what did you feel about it, Matt? I mean, the true story is all we've heard from you. Do you
Yeah.
like the movie?
That
Do
was,
you hate the
an
movie?
aside. So I kind of know what you mean, Joe, because when I first watched this movie a while ago, I was just like, yeah, that's fine, that's good, you know. And I watched it again. I want to say like 4 to 5 years ago, and I was like, pretty good movie. And then now that we're in this dive, I'm looking at all the Coen brothers movies. I'm picturing the whole catalog, and just by pure enjoyment, I fucking loved it. It's easily a 4.5 movie. I'm
Absolutely.
really debating if this is a 5-star movie.
I had it at 5 and I dropped it down to 4.5 because I was like,
I still haven't
compared to some
figured
of
it
the
out
other
yet.
stuff. I'm like,
I've got
Yeah,
it at
after
4.
this watch through, I'm thinking it might be 5. Like when I was sitting there after and letting it fester with me, I'm like, should I bump this up to 5? Is it at that
Yeah.
caliber? Because it's just so perfectly
Pace
paced,
is
and
insane.
yeah.
The movie
It's
moves
incredible.
so fast. It
like they
it's
even
only an hour and a half,
time to
but
throw in an aside with Francis McDormand meeting with that weirdo
yeah.
in the city, and you don't even feel it. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
that belongs, you know, because
I actually
they
wrote
made
that.
the
I was like,
connection
is
with
this
him on the
the-
phone.
That's true. Yeah, and that
So-
I
Yeah, that was
wrote
weird.
that as like maybe the only scene that doesn't feel like it should be there, but
Yeah, I kind of like thought like after because I don't know if I was necessarily like paying attention at that point. I'm like, what the fuck is going
what
on
is
here?
happening?
Like,
Yeah.
because it wasn't really relevant to anything like going on. I'm like, what
So
the
it
fuck is
took
this?
you out enough to bring you back in, is what you're
Hey.
saying.
Sure, yeah, it did.
It kept your interest. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like almost the funniest scene in the movie too.
Oh yeah,
You know, like
When
the
he
way
sits
that she
next to her,
handles that.
is this
yeah.
okay? Nope,
Yeah.
nope. I prefer you over there, actually.
Fucking breaks down.
And then it like leads right into Steve Buscemi at a bar too with like a chick, and it's like,
Yeah.
to me, the way I justified those scenes and that one especially was like, obviously it's like a character scene for Frances McDormand. You kind of really get to know like her life outside of whatever, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought immediately after I said that, but
Fuck, dude.
I'd love to hop on it again.
Yeah, you had me on the edge of my seat, man.
Now it's a 4.5 star movie, man. Now that I can't fucking count now. I don't even know. Yeah, take it away. Take it away.
I brought this movie up at work today because I was like, yeah, have you guys seen Fargo? We're watching Coen Brothers and stuff like that. And it made me feel good that like a 19-year-old kid that I work with had seen this movie. And I was like, yeah, this is a great movie.
It's
Specifically-
transcending.
Yeah, he was like, it's goofy, the funny looking guy. That line was something
Yeah, he's
on,
funny
I was
looking.
Like, that's good. Like Steve Buscemi is the fucking epitome of a goofy
Kind of funny looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? Can you be more specific?
He really is.
In a general kind of way.
I think it was like before. I don't know. Maybe it was after, but it's like where they're in the car. It might be like right before they get picked up by the cop. And I'm just like looking at him. He's complaining about how the other guy hasn't said anything in like 4 fucking hours. And I'm like, damn, Steve Buscemi is a weird looking guy.
So interesting. You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that scene with the cop is a fantastic scene. I mean, just
Yeah,
like
true.
Peter Stormare's
I
presence
had
in this
no
movie
idea
is
like what the
insane.
fuck was where that was going. Where
Yeah.
I had no idea that would happen. Like,
Right. Yeah. And just like the look on Peter Stormare's face in the moment when he realizes that he's gonna like have to do this right now, like because Steve Buscemi's such an idiot or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's such a good dynamic between the two. But that scene especially. I mean, that's when you think Fargo too. You think of that scene. I feel like where it's like the miscommunication on the road with the cop and the people running away and then shooting them down, and you know.
Definitely. And like you always, even in this TV show, you always have the two,
You have
the
that
big
moment.
bad silent type and the one who talks, does all the fast talking. And yeah, I also like what's that guy's name? The big guy?
Peter Stormare.
Yeah. His character was fucking
It's great.
first off insane, but awesome. Like he's just eating, watching a soap opera, and Steve Buscemi comes back. He's like, "What happened to her?" And she's like, "She was squealing." So it's like, my God.
Well, I love how
Fucking-
like he's actually like in it for the emotional like
Yeah, he's,
response
like,
of what he's
invested.
watching too. It's like
Yeah.
so staticky, like he can barely tell what's going on. And she's like,
But he's
"I'm
so-
pregnant," and then he like doesn't even react when Steve Buscemi comes in all fucking bloody. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just normal shit.
He's been in
like,
that cabin for so long that he's like actually loving it. But I felt a lot of Anton Chigurh in
Yeah.
Stormare too. So later
Definitely.
for No Country for Old Men, that like
True. Yeah.
that depraved of a serial killer or whatever is like
Yeah.
kind of connected to this one, I'd say.
Damn, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm glad. I mean, I've seen this like 3 or 4 times, but for some reason this watch through, it really made me opened up a new light for me. So really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Right on.
So I don't know why this just popped in my head. Doesn't really have anything to do with Fargo. It has to do with Barton Fink. We didn't talk about it when we talked about Barton Fink. Just Steve Buscemi coming out of the floor when he shows up at the hotel. Instantly, I'm just like, why the fuck is Steve Buscemi in a fucking hole in this hotel? We didn't talk about it on there, but I'm like, that kind of like, I don't know, feeds into my theory or the theories about it being fucking like hell or some shit, or like John Goodman being the devil. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
I just thought it
fits
was
more.
weird. Sorry, we can go back to Fargo.
Is
though. I just
Steve
wanted to talk
Buscemi
about
like
that.
the biggest Coen collaborator? Or is it John Goodman?
I think it's John Goodman followed by Steve Buscemi.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's
then,
got to be pretty
is
close.
it John
right?
Turturro is the other guy too? He's in a
Yeah.
lot too.
Ah, he's in a lot.
True.
I wonder. I got to do the math. Alex,
I
you want to
know.
make a
Look
chart?
it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got? I
Charts?
showed you my wicked charts.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, I like how like Steve
Well-
Buscemi doesn't shut the fuck up in this movie. In our next one, Big Lebowski, Donnie shut the fuck up is
Yeah.
yeah. The reason
Way
they wrote
different
that
character.
character
Yeah.
was because of this one. It's just fun.
You know,
Yeah.
also like talking about John Goodman, I think he was like, was he narrator in the Hudsucker Proxy?
Yeah. He pops in for like a little
It's
bit.
like, yeah, I could swear. I don't know. I couldn't remember like which one it was, but yeah, like I could swear it was like his voice. but
He's
I didn't
like,
really look
they're
it
like
up.
running an ad or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like the advertiser voice or some shit. But
Okay.
and then Buscemi's in Hudsucker for like his tiny role too, at the like close to the end or something like that.
Yeah, the bartender, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Maybe-
for Fargo,
yeah, they might be tied then. Buscemi and
that's
Goodman.
close. It's gotta be
Yeah.
close. Yeah. But Fargo for sure, like, especially watching like the first 5 or whatever films in a row and then getting to this one, it's just like you can tell that this is like where they've fully harnessed their powers of like everything, you know, and like it's super whatever those ultimate Super Saiyan level is nowadays. That's what they've reached.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Not...
Times 100.
They can just be
Like,
Super
okay.
Saiyan, right?
There we go. The
Yeah.
hair's gold.
It's classic, you know. Yeah.
They're in the cold, but just
They got-
great
they got
script,
bored.
great actors. Like this, the setting obviously does a lot for this movie. So like just their attempt at, because like honestly, I don't even know if like the White Wonderland has been like done before this in like the way that they did this movie, you know, like or like visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
And
been
it's
done
just so
like that.
simple too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just
What?
sitting there capturing what's happening in the moment. You know?
Yeah. I was gonna like the scene that comes to mind for me is like when William H Macy is like walking out through the parking lot, like in the tire tracks or whatever.
Yeah,
Watch him walk almost the whole way to his car.
yeah,
It's like
Same with-
visually striking but simple. Like yeah.
yeah,
it's-
for sure.
Yeah, that reminded me a lot of that scene in Blood Simple from the guy when he's burying the body in the cornfield.
Yeah,
And it's
the
like
tracks.
at night, yeah, you're
That's
like
true.
you can't see shit, and then like yeah, when it comes to day, you can like clearly see the tracks.
It's
and
like a
he just
very
fucking
reminiscent
drives out of
shot.
the field.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't
Same
make
with,
that connection at the time though. I
yeah.
just thought of that.
That's good. Same with like Steve Buscemi when he buries the money. Like just you watch him go all the way to the road back, and like
Yeah.
it's like what you were saying earlier. It's like yeah, just like staying with the character really. I don't know. It makes it real. It makes it like they don't just like get out of the frame and then the
Right.
image ends. It's like they had to
Cut
get
back
back
to
to the
the
fucking
car,
car.
to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you got to see it. Yeah. Also, the end of this movie felt like No Country for Old Men with Frances McDormand's little like, I just don't
Yeah,
get it.
Marge
I just don't
and-
understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great line.
Yeah.
But it's like Tommy Lee Jones he doesn't really get it anymore or whatever at the end of that movie. So
Yeah.
I think, well, this one to me is like an extension of Blood Simple almost for their
That's
skill
what it
set.
kind of feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. And then for like No Country and even Big Lebowski a little bit, like those other ones, it's like they're extending off of this one now, kind of. It's like they've found the avenue now, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna watch Big Lebowski and then just for some like the zaniness of that film.
That's up next, right?
Is it?
Yeah,
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking that one's going to be a 5-star for me now, but we'll see.
Same,
Honestly, I was
same.
thinking the same thing this week. I'm like, I think the Big Lebowski's gonna make a comeback here. I mean, it's already at 4.5 for me, so.
Hmm.
I'll tell you
Pretty much,
guys
but-
about. I don't think I've mentioned it before, but there's like a religion based on
The
Big
dude.
Dudism.
Lebowski. Yeah, it's called Dudism.
Uh,
My dad is a Dudist
dude?
priest. Yeah,
Dudist
Awesome.
priest.
I don't know. There's some day in March that's like their holiest day or something, and he's gonna
Do
have a
they-
party this
Goodbye,
Do
year.
they drink
man.
White Russians on that
Yeah.
day or
Yeah.
something? Or,
He has pictures of White Russians, and I'm just like, this is too much.
That's a bit much. Especially if it's a Dudist priest. That to me, that feels like they're mixing too many like.
It's weird. It's weird.
Isn't that
and
a
like
band?
all of his friends are in it too. I don't know. We'll get to it next week.
Talk about cults next
I
week.
respect it though, as far as like a
I'll-
religion.
He'll hook you
I
in for
guess.
next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's
I'll tell you more
philosophy.
about it.
Let's have your dad on next week to really dive into that.
Good.
What ritual? Do they have a ritual where someone comes in and pisses on their rug and then they go on a
Yeah.
journey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of their like code of conduct.
That's what kicks it off,
yeah.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
Really
Another
ties the
journey.
room together.
Is that a mark? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much. I mean, the end that I don't understand it end. I really love that ending. But also just the heartfelt, like sitting in the bed ending, the true ending, where he's like
Yeah.
talking about stamps and how like that we need the small ones, or when people don't have these, they're new one. They need to get the new ones when their old ones run out or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, obviously, it's just like a heartfelt scene for both of them. But is it the Coens? Because at the end of every movie, I like every filmmaker to kind of just like tell me how they feel about what they just did, almost, you know, like,
Yeah.
or how the movie was, or what it was. And it's like them almost saying like this new, fresh story that they just made has to be done when the old ones don't work anymore, you know, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, something along those lines of like them kind of patting
Tupac's still having
themselves.
the kid and
Yeah.
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 Like there's still work to do or whatever, but I don't know. Or it's just like the small people need stories too. Like, cause this is a very small,
Yeah.
if you think about who these people are, they're very like,
Small town. Even
Small
yeah,
people,
even
yeah.
that relationship between Margie and her husband is like
Well, that's how the guy heard about her. Like she was on the news, and it's just like this small town cop. I mean, the guy in
Yeah.
Twin Cities heard
Going that
about her,
called her.
so that's why he called her. So
that's what
yeah.
like that, to me that rang almost as like they it's like the friend I don't know, at this point Coen's are this is the movie that probably like made them more Hollywood or whatever. And I'm like thinking like, damn, did they get a call from like friends who are like, hey, saw your movie? It's like, dude, I haven't talked to you in a decade. It's like, where is this
sure,
coming
right?
from?
Yeah.
Like to me, I was like, there's something ingrained in this, but I think, but
yeah.
Also, Marge's character is kind of badass. I mean, obviously she's the smartest character in the whole movie, but like the fact that she's pregnant, walking into this guy wood chipping the fuck out of these people,
Yeah.
and she's just like police. You
yeah,
know, I don't know. It's
That's
kind of just
fucking
awesome.
good. Yeah. She is a great character in general. Yeah.
Well,
Coen
Liv, I'm gonna have
universe,
to
too.
question your police work there.
It's great how she just immediately like lays down exactly what happened at the scene when she gets
Yeah.
there. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, so it looks like this happened, and then like
recounts it.
I love how
completely.
she's like, there's 2 bullet wounds, one in the hand and one in the head. I guess it's a defensive wound.
she's like, putting it together right there. Good stuff.
shit.
I'm very tempted to give it a 5-star, honestly, because I mean it's definitely better than Blood Simple, and I love Blood Simple, and that was a 4.5
Yeah.
for me. So like,
That's what. Yeah,
just by
that's what
math,
after.
it has to check out.
Especially after, I have nothing to complain about it. Like I don't even
That's
know
the
why I
thing,
have it
yeah.
still at a 4.5. You know, so,
Yeah.
what's justifying the 4.5?
I dropped it down simply because I was like, Big Lebowski coming up, love Buster Scruggs, like where.
Yeah, which one?
I
How does
can't
this
have
one
that many
stack up?
5-star movies. Like, yeah, I can't. But I'm just like,
Yeah, you can. You're allowed.
yeah.
I was
You're
actually just
not-
thinking about
You're
this
not
because
allowed.
yeah,
There's a
how many
limit.
5 stars can filmmakers have? Because I
Look,
just finished
if
another
you
dive,
have,
Yeah.
and I only gave like 1 5-star, and it kind of like trickles down.
Well, with
Do I just
Tarantino, I
do that
have
with
like
every
7
filmmaker?
5-stars. So
Yeah, I do have 2 5-stars for Tarantino and 2 for PTA. Maybe 2 or 3 is the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
But
I'd have to
if
go back.
I guess if a filmmaker just I mean, Tarantino's an argument for that, I'd say. But if it's like undeniable banger after banger, you know, and it's just like,
Right.
I'd give him 5 stars. I would
I
think.
feel like Fargo was, the start of that. So,
Yeah, could be.
we'll see.
yeah, the only 5-star movie I have for the Coens is No Country, though. That's where I was like,
Same.
is Fargo at that same caliber? Because No
Yeah.
Country's like my 3rd favorite movie of all time. So
Mm.
See, I
one
thought
of the
about that
movies
with
I've
True
seen the
Grit.
most in my
Fargo,
I
life.
think I like
Change
underrated
up
True Grit.
I don't know. You're 3. If Fargo was like as good as No Country for Old Men.
That's the thing. I don't think it's as good, but it's like it's still like a perfect movie. Like that's where I keep landing. It's like I have no complaints. It's so well written and well executed. So
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
It does deserve
strange
it.
place.
Yeah.
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 Glad we got to it. It was definitely one of the biggest ones coming so far. So we're in the midpoint for Coen's and looking like some good days ahead.